there, my name is HW, and thank you so much for watching Tone Junkie TV, day 39 of quarantine, and I'm playing a cello. That's right, this is HW's cello, and this is what happens when you just start to mess around with too many compressors. But it's a really cool effect, and what you heard there at the beginning was just, I don't know, my attempt at some cello lines or something. Look, I think this is not necessarily going to be the most useful effect in the Kemper, but it's something that's possible. And so why not? You're at home, you're not doing anything. Just, here you go, HW's cello. Let's talk about it. This started out its life as a sparkle drive profile from the 69 band verb amp, which is back there. And, you know, I did that video talking about compressors, everything I know about compressors, and then I just started messing around with compressors. So, first thing I did to get this sort of ending cello tone, and look, you could use it for something like this. There's all sorts of noise if I just leave it on, so it definitely is more of a studio trick, or you've got to switch off to another performance pretty quickly because you're not just going to get dead silent. It's a never-ending sustain type of thing. You can kind of do it clean or dirty, and they both give you different flavors of a cello, but you can see me using my tone circuit here just to shape the sound a little bit. So here, I'll put that back on and I'll make it darker and brighter. It's sort of a cool effect. So let's talk about what I did to get it, and hopefully this gives you some ideas of how you can kind of get an infinite sustain cello kind of almost theremin effect. I'll show you some more of the like theremin stuff in a second, but this is a free download on the website. Check it out. So what we're doing is we're taking the stack here, and like I said, it's one of the it's a drive pedal, a sparkle drive from Voodoo Labs into the Bandmaster, and so hold down the stack, hold down, I just turned the stack off. Hold down the amplifier and come over. Now I'm setting the compressor at 5. So that's the internal compressor of the amplifier, which is just really, it's really doing a lot of compression, and any higher than that, and it really starts to get crazy if you have any type of gain at all. So I wouldn't recommend upping that too much. It starts to get really noisy and stuff. In terms of noise, let's start here. Noise gate, I've got at 3.9. That's higher than I would normally have the noise gate, but there's a lot of noise happening here. And then I've put a noise gate back here in the mod slot. So we've got a lot happening there. A lot of the noise comes in here though, and you can hear it. It's because I'm running a compressor. There's some optional overdrives. It turns off a lot if you get there's a lot less noise if you don't use the overdrives right there, but you get a different tone from the overdrives. Okay, so check it out with and without the overdrive. I mean, it's a cool, like, never-ending, sustaining thing. You can hear you get that extra drive in it. It really actually just detracts from the cello-ness of it, I think. But you get another little character that's just like a cool, layery type thing. You could almost think of this as like, your EBow without having an EBow. I could have called this HW's EBow, I guess. But it's HW's cello. Why not? Okay. The first compressor I'm running is 8.2 on the intensity. So here's what we're doing basically. High intensity, low attack. We want a quick kind of attack. to really get this thing to sustain and a lot of squish. The next one I'm running has not a little slower of attack, no squish, intensity. Is right about halfway. So it's actually leaving the lower half of the signal alone, just going on the upper half of the signal. Then I've got this compressor happening here in the stack, right, back in that, back in the amplifier section, in the compressor half. Then I've got a post-amp compressor that here I'm running the attack very quick and a lot of intensity. That's just, again, to grab the note and give it basically infinite sustain. Then I've got this threshold here on my noise gate set at 6.5, which isn't helping as much as I wish it was because it's still very noisy. But if you take all these effects off, all the wet effects, it sounds like this. It's cool. And then when you add the wet effects, you can sort of get as ambient as you want. Let me show you that, because it's really easy to sort of... You could add as many delays and reverbs as you want after that, and you could really get a spacey thing. You also could pull it back. Let me show if you're not trying to do a cello type of thing. If you're just trying to go for like kind of an infinite sustain, like kind of like EBO type trick, it'll work for that too. Again, it's pretty noisy, so you might want to, for this you could probably pull it back. You don't need the infinite sustain, but you can get a cool EBO trick. I'm gonna go to the middle position for this. Make it sound like a guitar again. It sounds like this. I mean, that's kind of like having, I mean, that's as close as you're going to get to having a Fernandez sustainer in the body of the guitar. It's an infinite sustain type of sound, and you can really do a ton with that. I mean, here's like a crazy example of some way you could get creative with this. You got to practice with this thing, because if you hit any sort of other things on the guitar, you get all of that compression working against you. So it really takes like, but you could, I could definitely see this as like the next time I do guitar tracks for a friend, I'm gonna put in a track. I always put like guitar 1, you know, rhythm 1, rhythm 2, or rhythm L, rhythm R, right? Then I'll put like, I'll just write like chorus thick, right? So that they know there's like a thicker guitar at the chorus that just comes in for it to like sit underneath the other rhythms. Then I might do a lead thing, maybe a double, an octave on like a melody or something. So I try to label that. For this, I'm gonna put cello. And it's gonna be like a back line, you know what I mean? And maybe they'll use it, maybe they won't. But if it's far enough back, it's gonna just sound like a textured layer. You could even trick someone into thinking it's a cello, although I'm not 100% sure. But it's a very like Pat Metheny, let's sound like other instruments because we can kind of approach to tone. And that really excites me, to be honest with you. That really excites me because it's something kind of brand new out of the Kemper. With more gain, you're really gonna get crazy. To me, any more gain, it won't sound like, you know, like kind of like an acoustic instrument. It'll sound like a distorted instrument. But, and you really gotta, what would really work is like that Paul Gilbert or that shredder technique, you know, where you just, you put the hair scrunchie right here and then you don't have any of the ring of the strings. That would be killer. HW's Cello is a free download. If you've got anything out of this video, like, subscribe. Don't forget, it really helps the YouTube and the Facebook algorithm. Go check out this infinite sustain cello trick, because it is really cool. Really cool. All right. HW out.